Hi everybody, how are you? I hope you are up to date with listening to the podcasts, and I hope you're enjoying. We're one third through the book already. It's going really fast, but it's getting really interesting and exciting. So we're going on to chapter 15. It's impossible to forget about Lily. But with Fiona around, it becomes possible to forget about witchcraft. The tarot and the housekeeper. I get email updates from Raya Silver's Patreon account that I deleted immediately. Why don't you just buy more cards? Fiona asks. Why don't I? Well, they're not very expensive after all, and I'm sure the woman in definition would be delighted to help me pick out a new packet. But I feel frightened of that side of me now, of the witch branded into my rucksack. Frightened that those who are first years who are afraid to come near me have a very good reason. Because it's not just that I was good at memorizing cards or telling people what they wanted to hear. When the cards were in my hands, I felt like I had discovered some part of myself that was better off hidden. Something troublesome and strange, thorny and not completely under my control. She's always been a bit of a bitch, of course, but once she started getting a bit of attention for the witchy shit, she got really nasty. That is what they told her, remember? And now she's scared. I can relate to that because you are discovering something which is intriguing and that you're good at and that you can help other people with, but at the same time, people think you're a witch or doing black magic, which is rubbish because the cards can't tell you the future. In my belief, they can only tell you what kind of energy is around you, and it's depending on who reads you and what their ethics and principles are, and that is what Maeve has to discover and learn. Excuse me, I'm not reading from the book, but sometimes I do comment on something from the book because I find it interesting. I'm 64 now, and when I started I was around 14, 13, and I was fascinated like her. I was scared of her. I was scared of the tarot. So I left the Rider Waite's deck, and because it was very scary. The tower is scary. The devil is scary. And when you go to a Catholic school like I did, then yeah, it has double impact on you. But throughout the years, you learn, you get to know people, you get to know the cards. But I switched over to Lenormand because Lenormand is also very direct. It's a different system. But it's sweet and it's cute with the flowers and with the beautiful pictures. And now, about 25-30 years later, I got back into tarot, and now I've got more tarot decks than Lenormand, and they're beautiful. And I learned that you can listen to your higher self or your intuition, and also connect with the other side, because I am auditive, also cognitive and visual. I can see people, and it all depends how you open yourself up. And this is all gradual steps. Being dizzy and thinking that you're mad and that you've got voices in your mind and all that. But you have to start testing your intuition and the other side, and find the little bridges that resonate with you and resonate with them, especially if you read for other people you don't know, and you come out with things, you tell things, and that only they would know with the other person. And it's the same with tarot and Lenormand. Okay? Like people say, what time? Remember, time is man-made, but you can give an indication of a season, perhaps. Now, let's get back to this. But this is something that I would love to discuss with anybody that's open to it. Anyway, and it was taboo. It was more frowned on in the 1960s, 70s, although the flower power people were open to it. So that, I suppose that's why I'm more inclined to lean to the flower power people. Okay. Anyway, this subject is so diverse and so big and wide and the people you meet are amazing, but really in a good sense and in a negative sense. But you learn a lot. There was a truth to that, I think. When I had the cards, the girls in my year seemed silly and small, their problems boring, their fights stupid. They exhausted me. Something about the tiny spark of power the cards gave me made me feel apart from the rest. Well, the power that she's talking about might be the power as being, and that's what you've got to be careful of, the power that you think that you might have over people because you can read the cards, but also the power the cards have over you. It's like reading a book. Once you start, you can't stop. The same with the cards. You will always want to do readings and do things with the cards. Don't get obsessed with anything. That's the only thing I would suggest. Okay? Don't get overpowered by the cards. Don't think that you have power, because you don't. Because in the Old Testament it says that you're not allowed to use these type of gifts. But I think that's more of the authors, because the Bible gets changed ever so often just to accommodate the church beliefs, and people were ruled by fear because only the priest or the cardinal or the pope could read in the 12th, 13th, 14th century, because only the rich could read, not the poor. So people were instructed and ruled by fear. And so, but coming back to the Old Testament, it says that you shouldn't dabble and dibble in the supernatural or in paranormality or cards, because that gift, if you do have it, can also be taken away. But that's another subject. And the prices that some people dare to ask, be fearful, because your gift can be taken away. Like, this is the subject here now in this book, in this chapter. She's discovering something and she feels powerful and she feels useful, and she's glad that she's not just a dumb, lumpy girl, in chapter 1 or 2. And that her sister Jo says, well, that Lily was dancing to her own drums, and that she could think that she could heal the world with 3 toothpicks. So yeah, this is all coming to the forefront, and she's thinking about it. She's becoming conscious of what she can and what she wants to do. Great stuff. It does awaken you, and this is opening up of your intuition and your subconscious and connection with the divine. I couldn't feel any more distant from my year group than right now. People are still deeply invested in Lily's disappearance. Flyers with her face on are everywhere. A photo from our junior cert results. I wonder if they cropped me out, or whether Lily had cut me out long before. Girls start coming to school with wild, exciting stories about being followed home from school by a vast and inconsistent variety of strange men. At first the guards were interested in these stories, but it became clear pretty quickly that the younger girls were getting weirdly swept up in the strange romance of being kidnapped. No one ever wanted to be like Lily, but now suddenly everybody sort of does. There is a kind of glamour to being chosen. I think I understand it, but it still makes me feel sick. On Saturday morning, Fiona texts me and asks if I want to come to a party at her house. What kind of a party? I ask. Just one, some food and just some food and music with my aunts and cousins. I don't know how formal the party is, but I figure it only polite to wear something nice. So put on a light blue knitted dress, and I last wore a year ago to a christening. Fiona opens the door and I can smell meat and garlic and onions. My mouth starts to water. "You are here," she says, delighted. "Wow, nice dress. You are going to want an apron. Why?" "My mum's food is basically barbecue. You'll have stains." "How come you're not wearing an apron?" "Because I'm a professional." I kick off my shoes and Fiona leads me into the kitchen, where a bunch of women are hovering over hot trays, yelling at one another about where a certain kind of bowl is. "Mum," Fiona says, putting her arm around a pretty woman that I assume is her mother. "This is Maeve. Do we have anything she can put over her dress?" "Maeve," her mum says, putting both arms on my shoulders. "We've heard so much about you. I'm Marie. It's always a thrill when Fifi brings home someone who isn't at that stage school." Fiona makes a face, and I can't tell if she's more annoyed by Fifi or her stage school being dissed. Her mother catches it. "Nay, it's true. They are all so pretentious, so serious. Maeve, I hear you are fun." "I try to be fun," I replied. "Do you sing?" "No." See more of this. I married an Irish man, thinking that the Irish are so musical. He doesn't sing either. Well, he does now, Fifi. Where's your daddy?" "Upstairs. Get him down. Maeve, have you met everyone?" Fiona introduced Maeve to your titas. "I meet everyone. Fiona has two titas, Sylvia and Rita." I don't know what titas is. Well, most probably will be explained. "They have two brothers who still live in Manila, who they talk about like they have just popped out and will be back any minute now. Clutches of cousins and family friends move in and out of the kitchen, grabbing plates of meat and rice, then wandering back into the living room to play Mario Kart. Fiona's dad arrives, surprisingly introverted compared to her outgoing mother, and then joins the other husbands standing and drinking beer at the kitchen's perimeter. I'm just finishing my second plate of food and my fourth game of Mario Kart when Fiona taps me on the arm. "Come on," she says, "follow me through the kitchen." We'll glide back through the kitchen, where a karaoke machine has been set up and two of Fiona's aunts are singing. Vogue, Fiona, singing Vogue. Fiona walks into the room, claps and sings along, and then seamlessly wraps her